Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How often do we sit around waiting for someone to validate us, to reach out, to say the words we so desperately want to hear? How often do we torture ourselves with questions like, why hasn't he called? Why doesn't he text me? Even though I know he wants to. Let's talk about that, because this isn't just about relationships. It's about understanding human behavior, self-respect, and where you place your value. The first thing you need to understand is this. People's actions, or lack of them, are not always about you. Sometimes they're about them. They're about their fears, their insecurities, their inability to face what they feel. You might think, but I know he cares, I know he craves me, why doesn't he just reach out? Because wanting and acting are two very different things. Craving is internal. It's passive. It's sitting in the dark with a longing you can't articulate. Acting, on the other hand, requires courage. It requires stepping up, stepping out, and taking responsibility for what you feel. Recognize the truth and pour out what you feel. And let me tell you, not everyone is built for that. Some people are more comfortable living in their heads than living in the truth. They'd rather sit with their desire in silence than risk rejection, vulnerability, or commitment. They might crave you, but they're afraid of what having you might demand of them. Maybe it's fear of change, fear of inadequacy, or fear of being seen for who they really are. But whatever it is, their silence speaks volumes. Here's where it gets real. You can't control someone else's choices, but you can control how you respond to them. Don't waste your energy trying to decode someone's silence. Don't sit there crafting stories in your mind, trying to justify their lack of action. Oh, he's busy. Oh, he's scared. Oh, he's scared. Oh, he'll come around. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. But while you're waiting for him to make a move, life is happening. Opportunities are passing you by. Don't let your worth hinge on someone else's inability to show up for you. See, the truth is, when someone truly values you, they show it. They don't leave you questioning. They don't leave you wondering. People make time for what's important to them. They prioritize what matters. So if someone isn't reaching out, isn't making an effort, you need to ask yourself, is this person really as invested as you think they are? Or are they just caught up in their own chaos, unable or unwilling to give you what you deserve? Now, I'm not saying you should write people off the first time they hesitate. We're all human, and we all struggle. But there's a difference between patience and self-sacrifice. There's a difference between waiting for someone to sort through their emotions and putting your life on hold for someone who may never be ready. And you need to know the difference. So what do you do in the meantime? You focus on you. You focus on your growth, your goals, your happiness. You focus on becoming so fulfilled, so confident, so whole, that whether or not someone contacts you becomes irrelevant. Because here's the secret. When you live in your power, when you honor your worth, you attract people who do the same. The kind of person who's right for you won't leave you in limbo. They'll meet you where you are with clarity and intention. Let me tell you something about craving. Craving is a feeling, not a foundation. It's fleeting. It's powerful, yes, but it's also unstable. You don't build relationships on cravings. You build them on commitment, respect, and action. So stop worrying about why someone craves you but doesn't contact you. Instead, ask yourself, does this person align with the life I'm trying to build? Do they respect me enough to show up for me, not just in their mind, but in their actions? Because the truth is, you deserve more than to be someone's secret longing. You deserve to be someone's priority. You deserve someone who's willing to step out of their comfort zone, face their fears, and say, I choose you. And if they're not ready to do that, that's not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for teaching someone how to value you. You are responsible for valuing yourself. And let me say this, When you value yourself, when you stand tall in your worth, it changes the game. You stop chasing after people who can't see your light. You stop accepting breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole feast. You stop settling for less than you know you're worth. And the right people, the people who see you, who value you, who are ready to step up, they'll rise to meet you. They'll show up without hesitation, without games, without excuses. Life is too short to spend it waiting for someone to decide whether or not you're worth their effort. You are worth it. You always have been. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll stop holding space for people who can't see it. Don't let their silence make you doubt yourself. Don't let their inaction make you question your value. Stand firm in who you are and trust that what's meant for you will find you. Sometimes the reason someone doesn't contact you, even when they crave you, has nothing to do with you. It's about their journey, their struggles, their fears. But that doesn't mean you have to wait around for them to figure it out. You have your own journey to walk, your own fears to face, your own growth to pursue. Don't let their hesitation hold you back. Keep moving forward. Keep choosing yourself. Episode 47. And remember this, the right people, the ones who truly deserve a place in your life, won't make you wait. They won't leave you questioning. They'll choose you fully and completely because they'll recognize the value you bring. And when that happens, you'll see why it never worked out with anyone else. You'll see that every unanswered call, every unreturned text, every moment of silence was leading you to something better. So don't settle, don't chase, don't wait. Choose yourself and let the rest fall into place. Self-worth isn't determined by someone else's actions. It is an internal understanding of your value that remains constant regardless of how others treat you. Too often, people tie their sense of worth to external validation. They look to others for signs that they matter, for proof that they are lovable, important, or deserving. But the truth is, self-worth doesn't come from someone else's approval. It comes from within, from recognizing your inherent value as a person, independent of what anyone else says or does. When you allow your self-worth to depend on someone else's actions, you give away your power. You let their choices, their words, or their lack of response dictate how you feel about yourself. If they reach out, you feel validated. If they don't, you question your value. But that's a dangerous cycle to fall into, because it places your happiness and confidence in someone else's hands, hands that you have no control over. True self-worth is unshakable because it isn't tied to external circumstances. It's about knowing who you are, understanding your unique qualities, and standing firm in that knowledge. It's about acknowledging your strengths, accepting your imperfections, and realizing that you are enough just as you are. This kind of self-worth doesn't waver based on whether someone chooses to call you, text you, or make an effort to be in your life. It remains steady because it comes from within. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to separate your value from how others treat you. Just because someone doesn't recognize your worth doesn't mean it isn't there. Their inability to see your light doesn't dim it. Their failure to act doesn't diminish your significance. You are not defined by their actions or inactions. You are defined by how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and the standards you set for your life. This doesn't mean that you won't feel hurt or disappointed when someone you care about doesn't show up for you. Those feelings are natural, and it's okay to acknowledge them. But it's important to remind yourself that their choices are a reflection of them, not of you. Their actions or lack of them are about their journey, their fears, their priorities, and their capacity to give. They don't determine your worth. When you understand this, you stop chasing after people who don't value you. You stop trying to prove yourself to those who don't appreciate what you bring to the table. Instead, you focus on honoring your own value. You invest in yourself, in your growth, and in your happiness. You set boundaries that protect your time, energy, and peace. And you surround yourself with people who see your worth and treat you accordingly. Knowing your self-worth also means being willing to walk away from situations that don't align with it. It means recognizing when you're not being treated with the respect and care you deserve and having the courage to let go. This isn't always easy, especially when emotions are involved. But staying in situations where you're undervalued only reinforces the idea that your worth is negotiable. Walking away, on the other hand, sends a powerful message to others and to yourself that you know your value and you won't settle for less. Building self-worth takes time and effort, especially if you've spent years seeking validation from others. It requires self-reflection, self-care, and a commitment to changing the way you think about yourself. Start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. How do you talk to yourself? Are you kind and supportive, or are you critical and self-doubting? Shift your inner voice to one of encouragement and affirmation. Remind yourself of your strengths, your accomplishments, and the unique qualities that make you who you are. Take care of yourself, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Prioritize your well-being by getting enough rest, eating nourishing food, moving your body, and taking time to do things that bring you joy. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, and distance yourself from those who bring negativity or make you question your worth. The more you nurture yourself, the stronger your sense of self-worth becomes. Another important aspect of self-worth is setting and enforcing boundaries. When you know your value, you don't allow others to treat you poorly. You don't tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect. You communicate your needs and expectations clearly, and you hold others accountable when they cross the line. This isn't about being harsh or demanding. It's about honoring yourself and ensuring that your relationships are healthy and respectful. Self-worth also involves being selective about where you invest your time and energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing. When you know your value, you choose wisely. You focus on relationships, projects, and experiences that align with your goals and values. You let go of what doesn't serve you, knowing that your time and energy are precious and should be spent on what truly matters. Remember that self-worth is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you feel strong and confident and times when you doubt yourself. That's okay. What matters is that you keep coming back to the truth of who you are. You keep reminding yourself of your value, even when others fail to see it. You keep choosing yourself, even when it's hard. When you embrace your self-worth, it transforms every aspect of your life. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You attract people and opportunities that align with your values. You approach challenges with confidence, knowing that you are capable and resilient. And most importantly, you live with a sense of inner peace and fulfillment because you know that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else. It comes from within. Craving without action is meaningless because feelings alone cannot build relationships, create opportunities, or establish trust. It's easy to feel something deeply, to desire something with all your heart, but without taking action, those feelings remain just that, feelings. They exist in a space where they hold no power to manifest into reality. Too often, people get stuck in their cravings, hoping and wishing that their desires will somehow lead to outcomes. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. Craving is passive, action is transformative. Craving stays in the mind while action moves you forward. When someone craves you but doesn't act, it's important to understand the difference between their internal desires and their external behavior. Craving is a personal feeling, something that happens within a person. It's a longing, a pull, an attraction. But action requires courage, effort, and the willingness to take risks. It demands stepping outside of comfort zones, facing fears, and putting in the work to bridge the gap between desire and reality. Without action, craving becomes stagnant. a kind of internal noise that may feel significant but ultimately leads nowhere. The same principle applies in relationships, careers, and personal growth. Someone may feel strongly about you, admire you, or even crave being close to you, but if they don't act on those feelings, it leaves you in a space of ambiguity. You can't build a connection based on feelings alone. Relationships require communication, effort, and mutual investment. Craving might bring someone to the door, but action is what opens it. It's the follow-through, the consistent showing up, the willingness to be vulnerable and accountable that makes a relationship real and meaningful. This lack of action often stems from fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of change. People hesitate to act because they're afraid of what might happen if they do. They might crave you deeply, but they're paralyzed by their own insecurities. They overthink, they second-guess themselves, and they stay stuck in their heads. But here's the thing. Fear is a natural part of life. Everyone feels it. Well, the difference between those who succeed in their relationships and goals and those who don't is the ability to act in spite of fear. For some, the fear of acting is tied to their self-worth. They may not feel worthy of the person or opportunity they crave. They may think, what if I'm not good enough? What if I can't meet their expectations? This kind of self-doubt can be debilitating, keeping people trapped in a cycle of wanting but never pursuing. It's important to recognize that these fears are often unfounded. Worthiness is not about perfection. It's about showing up, trying, and being genuine in your efforts. For others, the lack of action comes from a sense of complacency. They're comfortable where they are, even if it's not fulfilling. Craving might provide a temporary escape, a way to dream about what could be, but the comfort of the status quo keeps them from making a move. This kind of inaction can be frustrating for those on the receiving end, especially if you know that someone feels strongly about you, but won't take the steps to show it. What's important to remember is that you cannot control someone else's actions. You can't force them to overcome their fears or break out of their complacency. What you can do is set boundaries for yourself. You can decide that craving without action is not enough for you. You can choose to prioritize people and opportunities that come with effort, intention, and follow-through. Leadership is leadership in action. Otherwise, it's just a name. Speech, when you find yourself in a situation where someone craves you but doesn't act, it's not your responsibility to wait around or try to fix it. You deserve more than to be someone's unspoken desire. You deserve someone who is willing to step up, take risks, and show you through their actions that they value you. Craving might feel flattering in the moment, but it's action that builds trust and respect. It's action that demonstrates commitment and care. This is a lesson that applies beyond relationships. In every area of life, craving without action leads to frustration and regret. You might crave success, but without putting in the work, that success will remain out of reach. You might crave a healthier lifestyle, but without taking steps to eat better, exercise, and rest, nothing will change. Craving is the seed, but action is the water that makes it grow. To truly honor your desires, you must align your actions with your cravings. If you want something, go after it. If you feel deeply about someone, let them know. If you dream of achieving a goal, start taking steps toward it today. The same goes for others in your life. If someone truly values you, they will act in ways that show it. They won't leave you wondering or doubting their intentions. Craving without action is like holding a map but refusing to take the first step on the journey. The potential is there, but it remains unrealized. Action, on the other hand, is the bridge that turns potential into reality. It's the courage to move forward despite uncertainty. It's the willingness to face challenges and grow through them. When you understand this, you stop being impressed by mere cravings. You start looking for consistency, effort, and intentionality. You recognize that words and feelings, while important, are not enough without the actions to back them up. You start setting higher standards for yourself. and the people in your life. You realize that craving is easy, but action is where the true work lies. Let go of waiting for someone who hesitates, because life is too short to stand still while someone else makes up their mind. When you spend your time waiting for someone to choose you, you give away your power. You put your life on hold for someone who may never fully commit or appreciate what you bring to the table. It's a frustrating and painful place to be, stuck in limbo, hoping that one day they'll see your value and act accordingly. But the truth is, waiting for someone who hesitates only robs you of the opportunities, relationships, and growth that come from moving forward. Hesitation is often a sign of uncertainty or a lack of readiness. It doesn't necessarily mean the person doesn't care about you or doesn't recognize your worth. Sometimes people hesitate because they're dealing with their own fears, insecurities, or unresolved issues. They may genuinely want to be with you, but feel overwhelmed by their own doubts or the weight of their responsibilities. While it's natural to feel compassion for their struggles, it's important to recognize that their hesitation is not your burden to carry. You deserve someone who is sure about you, someone who knows your value and is willing to make the effort to show it. When someone hesitates, they send a message that they're unsure about committing to you fully. That uncertainty can create a dynamic where you constantly feel the need to prove yourself, to convince them that you're worth choosing. But love and connection should never be about proving your worth. They should be about mutual respect, effort, and a shared desire to build something meaningful together. Waiting for someone who hesitates often leads to self-doubt. You start questioning yourself, wondering if you're good enough or if you've done something wrong. You replay moments in your head, searching for signs that you've misinterpreted their intentions. This kind of overthinking can be exhausting and damaging to your self-esteem. The longer you wait, the more you risk losing sight of your own worth and the things that make you unique and valuable. Choosing yourself means recognizing when someone's hesitation is holding you back. It means acknowledging that you have the power to decide what you deserve and taking steps to align your life with that truth. When you stop waiting for someone who hesitates, you open the door to new possibilities. You make room for people who are ready and willing to invest in you, people who see your value and choose you without hesitation. Letting go of waiting doesn't mean you have to cut someone out of your life entirely. It's about shifting your focus and prioritizing your own well-being. It's about setting boundaries that protect your time and energy. If someone is hesitant, they need to work through their issues on their own. You can't force them to be ready or to make a decision. All you can do is control how you respond and what you choose to accept in your life. It's important to trust that the right people will come into your life at the right time. When you let go of waiting for someone who hesitates, you create space for those who are ready to show up fully. You make room for relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, effort, and intentionality. These are the connections that bring joy, growth, and fulfillment into your life. When you find your people, it is time to reach out to the person you love and invite them. Letting go also allows you to focus on yourself and your own journey. It gives you the freedom to pursue your goals, passions, and interests without feeling tied to someone else's indecision. It empowers you to build a life that reflects your values and aspirations. When you prioritize your own growth and happiness, you become stronger, more confident, and more resilient. You develop a deeper sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on anyone else's actions or approval. Waiting for someone who hesitates can feel like an act of patience or loyalty, but it's important to ask yourself whether that waiting is serving you. Is it helping you grow? Is it bringing you joy or peace? Or is it causing you stress, anxiety, or frustration? Sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for the other person. It allows both of you to find clarity and to move toward what's truly meant for you. Letting go the transition. Life is too precious to spend it waiting for someone to decide whether or not they want to be in it. Your time and energy are valuable, and they should be spent on people and experiences that uplift and inspire you. When you let go of waiting, you take back your power. You reclaim your ability to choose what's best for you and to create a life that aligns with your worth and potential. Choosing yourself isn't always easy, especially when you care deeply about someone who hesitates. But it's a powerful act of self-love and self-respect. It's a declaration that you deserve more than uncertainty and indecision. It's a commitment to valuing yourself and prioritizing your own happiness. By letting go of waiting, you set yourself free to embrace the possibilities and opportunities that await you.